Only because you can afford it doesn't mean you should go buy the Hellcat or the Mustang or the Baby Benz or the Lexus, or in my case, I wanted a Range Rover in vogue. I remember when I was 22, 23, just like I do today, I write down my goals every single morning. At that time, one of my goals was to buy a Range Rover in vogue for my 25th birthday. But when 25 finally rolled around, my mindset had changed, and I was like, should I really buy this Range Rover to feel confident or to flex on people or to make people think I got more money than I actually do? Instead, I was like, maybe I should save some more money instead of putting the down payment and then having a monthly note for a liability. I started to go and buy assets, and me and my business partner have now bought 3 rental properties. However, I still have to drive something, right? So what in the heck do I drive? Well, first I drove a 2007 HHR with 170,000 miles. That was my first car, and I had it for about 10 years. And then the second car that I drive is a 2011 Ford Explorer that me and my company paid cash for. That was a write-off. I've been had that now for about 7 years, and it has 280,000 miles on it, and I will continue to drive it until the wheels fall off. But I have financed a car. In 2019, I bought my mother a car for Mother's Day, and I had enough money to go and pay for it in cash. However, I wanted to build my credit up because I had never made a big purchase before that needed financing. So I used this opportunity to build my credit through financing. So here are my 6 steps on how I financed a car. The first thing I did was to be a good steward of my credit. I remember when my mom bought a car when I was in high school, and I think she had like a 10 to 15% interest rate and still needed my grandmother to co-sign because of how poorly her credit score was. So when I went to go and finance a car for her, I made sure that my credit was in tip-top shape. Therefore, I could get the lowest interest rate possible. The second thing I did was my due diligence in researching a reliable used car. 2 key words, reliable and used. I will never, ever, I don't really buy anything new. I don't buy my cameras new, I don't buy houses new, I don't buy cars new, but I definitely will never buy a new car. So I did my research for a reliable used car at a dealership. If I had to go do it over now, I would probably just go to the auction and pay cash for it. But at this time, I found a reliable used car, which was an Infiniti Q50. That's actually the car that she wanted. So I like to give people what they want. And I found one with a sticker price that was like $15,000 or $16,000. The third thing that I did in my head was establish how much I wanted to pay every month on a car note. I told myself I wasn't going to pay anything over $250 a month. So that segues into number 4, which is how long do you want to have this car note for? The average car payment in America is $667. Do you really want to pay almost $700 a month? Not including insurance, gas, oil changes. Well, if it's electric, maybe not oil change. But that's not including any of the other maintenance on the car. $667 a month for 7 years? My best friend and business partner went and bought a Dodge Charger, and I was like, bro, let alone 7 years, you're not going to want that car in 3 years. Are you really going to finance something that you're going to have to pay each and every month that is a depreciating asset, which means just losing money? You're going to pay for that every month for the next 7 years? By the time you get done with that 7 years, you know what you're going to want to do? Buy another car and have another car note, and then the cycle continues. So the fourth thing I did was to save a sizable deposit, which now, like I said earlier, I'll probably just go to the auction and buy a cash car. But again, I was also trying to build my credit at the time. So with that sizable deposit, it allowed me to do the previous 2 steps successfully, which was to know how long I wanted the long term to be and how much I wanted to pay on the note every month. And final thing, I could afford the car 3 times. At that time, I think I had over $45,000 saved for this potential car. And so when I went and bought a car with a sticker price of $15,000 to $16,000, when I put the deposit down, when I'm paying a note every month of $209, I feel good about my purchase because I can comfortably afford it. Number one, get your credit up. Number two, do research on a reliable and used car. Set a monthly budget. Number four, know how long you want your loan term to be. The dealership will try to finance whatever. If you say, hey, I can only afford this, they'll extend that sucker out 6-7 years. You want to dictate how long you want to pay that loan for. Number five, save a sizable deposit so you can then manipulate your pricing and how long you want the loan for. And then number six, if you can't afford it 3 times, can you really afford the car? For me, no matter if I'm buying a car, a pair of sneakers, a piece of equipment for my business, if I can't pay for it 3 times outright, to me, I can't afford it.